This episode of Earn Your Happy is sponsored in part by Shopify, Constant Contact, Cozy Earth, Airbnb, and OpenPhone. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/happy. Constant Contact's award-winning marketing platform is here to make marketing way easier and way more effective. Try Constant Contact free for 30 days at constantcontact.com. Where would you live for a year if you hosted your home on Airbnb and went on an adventure? Find a co-host at airbnb.com/host. Sleep cooler, lounge lighter, stay cozy. Go to cozyearth.com and use code EARN for 40% off. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. OpenPhone is offering my listeners 20% off of your first 6 months at openphone.com/earn. I'm 44. I'm really feeling the call to start stepping into like one of my biggest chapters of my life. And so that means that I want to be around other women doing the same thing who have gone way bigger than I'm even imagining right now. I want women to expand what I think is possible in my mind. And the only way for me to do that is to actually get into conversations with them and in the rooms. No one's going to come and set these dates up for me. And no one's going to come and be like, let me curate this awesome dinner where women are all going to connect in your area so you can meet all these people. I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it myself.
And we're back
with another episode of He Said, She Said.
Babe, we're making it happen. I'm in Scottsdale. You are in Newport Beach. We are still he said and she said and no problem.
No problem. I just can't see your face, but
I know. I can't see your beautiful face.
Maybe this is good for our marriage.
Not seeing my face is good for our marriage. Hey, I thought a way to spice things up. Put a bag over your head.
Hey, keep the lights off.
Listen, I know I'm getting older, but come on.
Oh, you're getting better. You're getting better. And your Botox just kicked in the other day. It's looking real good.
You're like, what happened? I'm like, Botox again. It had been over a year. Over a year.
Just say you didn't get it for over a year and you forget, like, Botox really works.
Oh, people either love us or hate us right now at this point.
At this point, I just want our people, and that's about it.
I'll tell you what, love us or hate us. We just had one of the best weeks ever. Like, just hanging around epic people, getting to be a part of doing epic things. I thought it'd be kind of fun to break down. First of all, what did we do? But more importantly, for everybody listening, how in the hell did we get here? Because we're just a couple of kids from the Midwest, and there's actually like a blueprint that you can follow to live a life like this.
Yeah, I love this.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to tee yours up first. First, I'm going to give a summary. You just had a dinner that you hosted at our new home in Newport with like celebrities and some of the most incredible CEOs and presidents of the biggest female brands out there. I'll let you do the sharing if you want, or we can keep it coy as well. But like, it was 23 women of like everyone would die to be at that dinner. And you had it at our house, and I couldn't believe who you had over. And at the same time, on that same night, I was up with Dan Martell and Rob Dyrdek, introducing the two of them at Rob's new office. And we sat there for hours and hours and hours and hours going over Rob's new secret project. And I definitely can't talk about that, but I can talk about like how we got to that. Like, how am I in the room with Rob Dyrdek and Dan Martell and Brian, which is Rob's president? And how are we there? How did I pull that together? Like, what the F? I'm just a kid from Green Bay, Wisconsin. So let's start with yours. Describe the night to the extent that you're comfortable. But then for everyone listening, the important part of what Lori's about to describe is how you can put yourself in these situations too, with a little bit of future planning.
Okay. Love this so much. I'm not going to share names because it's not necessarily about that. It's about creating this for yourself and how to do that. And, everything that Chris said, like, we're from the Midwest. We did not have a network. Our parents were not wealthy. We were not, kids whose parents went to different Ivy League schools. Like, we did not have a network, anything that you could call a network. We had, great parents, great childhoods, but at the same time, we just should not be where we're at with the people around us that we have unless you are truly, truly working really hard on creating a network. So, with that said, I learned early on how important the people were that you're around and that you're learning from, and also that you just get to be in the energy of. And also, I can't remember who said this, Chris, but early on, we had someone, it was in a mastermind and it was somebody speaking and he was talking about how he took a year. Maybe you'll remember who this is. He took a year to like put himself in the rooms with really famous people, but also made sure to get a picture and put it on his social media and wanted to see if that would like grow his following being in proximity. And sure enough, it grew him to like over 1 million followers in a short period of time because he just kept posting that he was around all of these people. And by power of proximity, people started to assume that he was someone, and he truly was becoming someone because he was growing and he was putting himself in these rooms and he was putting himself in these different situations and he was taking all these big leaps in his business. So it was simultaneous. It wasn't just, you can't just be the person who's like, take a picture with me, take a picture with me, because Chris, we've met those people. It
Yeah.
feels painful. It feels
You
awful.
feel
They're not
used.
adding value. You feel used, all the things. That's not what we're saying. We're saying go in the rooms and we are saying learn and add value to those people. That's the number one.
Then the follow up to that is develop a little warm relationship with that person, then get a picture when it's appropriate because you're having a moment together. You know what
When
I
it's
mean?
appropriate, for sure. Like even some of the people at my dinner, I did not get photos. I'm not putting them on my main page wall. Like there's
Well,
just,
look, we're even protecting their names right now.
yes, totally.
Because
Like,
there's EQ to this. I want to talk about this. I don't want to
yeah.
interrupt you, but people need to understand there's EQ to this. So, like, what's EQ? That emotional intelligence, like IQ owns EQ. You have to know how to behave and how to operate around the individuals that one day you want to have in your circle or that you want to collaborate with or that you want to earn the respect of. And I sometimes don't know how to put the EQ into words other than knowing when you're being too much and knowing when you're like, oh, can I just have a picture and then posting right away? And then knowing like, here's how I describe the EQ around this. Ask yourself before you do each thing, before you name drop or before you post a picture with someone, be like, am I adding value with this? Or am I just going for the dopamine hit of having everyone say, look who I'm with? And that's kind of the difference between EQ. If it's adding value, like I'm just going to make up a post like, wow, I just had the best day of my life. And here's 3 lessons for being in a room with, you know, Rob and Dan, you know, that's adding value. If it's like, hey guys, here I am, like, look what I'm doing. Like, that's not EQ. That's just look at me, and look at me will never get you anywhere. I don't know if I'm describing that well. How would you add to the EQ conversation?
Yeah, I think that people don't want to feel used. I think
Yes.
they don't want to look at your page and be like, oh, cool. So got that picture and made it seem like we're in some relationship. We're not. It was just a photo. And, you can feel used. Put yourself in their shoes. If you were someone who's constantly being wanted by other people, most of those people, like, they have a wall up, they have an energetic block. And if you go and you violate that by doing something like that or making it seem like you're more than what really happened, then, that automatically kind of just puts you in a category where they're not going to want to associate with you again, most likely.
Babe, you nailed it. It's accurately represent the relationship and you'll be
Mhm.
fine.
Yes, I think that's the way to put it. Accurately represent the relationship. So for the dinner, I really, really, I'm finding myself in a place where I am craving just more growth in certain areas. And so I'm craving growth in the area of women who have product companies or are doing really big things, putting themselves in a lot riskier positions in life, meaning they're just taking a bigger leap right now than maybe what I'm used to in some of my social circles, which these women are already playing so big. But I know a lot of you listening relate to this and some of you don't, but I hope that either way it inspires you to really think about where you're at and take a risk into, a bigger challenge for wherever you are. But I'm 44. I'm really feeling the call to start stepping into like one of my biggest chapters of my life. And so that means that I want to be around other women doing the same thing who have gone way bigger than I'm even imagining right now. I want women to expand what I think is possible in my mind. And the only way for me to do that is to actually get into conversations with them and in the rooms, because you don't really get to learn who they are and how they think without getting in proximity with them in like an evening where you get to really drop in, or a day or a walk or a workout or whatever that looks like. So I kind of got sick of like waiting, and no one's going to come and set these dates up for me. And no one's going to come and be like, let me curate this awesome dinner where women are all going to connect in your area so you can meet all these people. Like, I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to put on a dinner. I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to try to think of a reason why other women would want to come. And within those other reasons, I'm going to think of ways to highlight these other women's businesses so that it becomes really valuable to them. And let me explain where this sweet spot of this like little magical idea came about, which I actually think brought more people to it for sure. Like, I think that if I just would have invited these women, that some of them still wouldn't have come if I wouldn't have curated the dinner a little bit more. So let me
Yeah, this
explain.
is key. I hope everyone catches this, right? This is the value add that we are talking about before. It wasn't just, hey, I'm having a dinner and it's free. Come to my thing. That might have been half of them showing up, not all of them. What you're about to explain, I just wanted to make sure people understood as this is the significant part.
Yes. So Lindsay Zastro and I, who's one of my best friends, we went to New York for her 40th birthday. For her 40th birthday dream, it was to go to a woman's jewelry company called Dylan Lex. That's the jewelry company. Her name is Drew GInsburg. And when we went there, the door was locked because they were having a meeting, and they saw us come up and pull on the door. And the guy came out and he was like, I'm so sorry, we're having a meeting. Can you come back like later, maybe like an hour or two? And we were like, wah, wah, like, that's okay. We'll definitely be back. But we were bummed because we were like ready to go. And we turned around, and all of a sudden, this girl is like yelling out the door. She's like, you know what? Don't worry. Get over here. Come back in. And we turn around, and there's Drew GInsburg, who both Lindsay and I are like major fangirls of. And we're trying to play, we're trying to play it cool because the founder's like, no, 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 girls, come back in here. And so we go in and we're trying to play it cool, and she's like styling Lindsay and putting all this jewelry on her, and we're like dreamy, right? We're like shopping, trying on jewelry. Lindsay's getting styled, then I get styled, like an absolute dream day. And Lindsay works up the balls to be like, she's like, yeah, so this is what we do, because she had kind of asked us, like, we podcast, we do this, I have this event, Lori's this and that. And she said, would you ever want to come on our podcast? Because I know that you also have a place in LA. And she was like, oh my gosh, you guys seem so cool. Absolutely. So we didn't just stop there. We're like, great, we'll get dates. Like, we'll be in touch. We got dates down. We literally made it happen so that Lindsay came out to LA, and we booked a podcast day where then Drew, when she was there, came on the podcast. So, we gave a coupon code to our listeners. Lindsay and I always tag Dylan Lex, which is her company. We're constantly getting different women to wear it. Like, we added a lot of value in different ways. Like, we're her, biggest fans. I feel like we're one of her biggest ambassadors.
My credit card statement says you're her biggest customer.
Great, great. I'm like, I doubt that, but I'm hoping to get there. I'm just kidding. But with that, when I was thinking of this dinner, Drew had put a post out on Instagram. So I already had the dinner in my mind. I already kind of started planning it and had a dream guest list, but I didn't know when I was going to set the date or anything like that. Drew puts a post out that says, I love the internet. I'm so grateful for it and what it can do, but it also, it's kind of a tough place as well. And I would love, like, I wish we could do more IRL meetups, like in real life meetings. And I was like, great. Do you want to do one? Because I would love to host a dinner and have you be a part of it. And literally wrote that on her post. And she knows who I am because we podcast and we chatted back and forth and whatever. And she was like, yes, let's talk. And so we went in the DMs, exchanged numbers, and immediately started voice noting. And I'm not even kidding you, planning this dinner. So I think when someone really is in that space, I could sense it from the post that she really meant it. And she could sense from me that, like, I'm an action taker. If you say yes, this will happen. And so she loves connecting, but she doesn't love, like, or it doesn't feel like she's great at like putting stuff on or knowing how to, like, get a group together and facilitating it. And I was like, well, that's my zone of genius. Let me take care of all of this. Let's plan something fun. How about you show up? You have a styling moment. You teach and talk about your jewelry. You bring some so people can buy it if they want. So it'll be fun, like a dinner cocktail evening where we're all talking. It's facilitated conversation. And then also we have this moment where we're shopping, we're having cocktails, we're taking selfies with the jewelry on in front of a mirror with your logo on it. Like I just had this vision pop into my head, sold the vision to her. She was like, hell yes. And we just worked together and put on this incredible dinner. I invited, all of these different women. Half of them I knew, half of them I didn't at all. I just kind of went off of a vibe check. I was like, do I feel like I would like this woman? Would I want to hang out with this woman? Even if she's someone or not, would I want to be in her energy? And also, will she bring value to these other women? Like, is it someone who has girlfriend energy, who has giver energy? Because I don't want someone who's like super into themselves or taker energy. Like, this was about truly connecting women, having the best night ever, and seeing what we can learn and give to each other. And so I think having that little activation and obviously having such a cool, fun thing to do for the evening was something that really drew people, because the second I put that cute little invite together, I feel like people were immediate yeses. And we, of course, had some no's. I also had like 3 no shows, but for the most part, it was like immediate yeses. You were either all in and you vibed with what I wrote because I fully explained the evening. I was like, it's facilitated. It's about, connecting, having fun, dressing as your higher self, but also like really connecting with each other and seeing, what we can offer to each other. So I think the expectation and the intention, like I set such a clear intention of you either read that paragraph and it was for you or not. And the night was like my absolute freaking dream. And I had everybody go around the table and introduce themselves and also say something that they were excited about. And what this let us do is know who you are, what you do, but also what you're working on. Like, how can we help that thing you're excited about get more out into the world? And it was so magical. We went around the entire dinner. It took the entire dinner time to get around the table of 23 people. And I can say it was one of the most special experiences. And I think people felt so connected. I think it was really refreshing. I think you guys should do this on your own. And if you're like, well, I don't have the money to do that, I am going to be doing more of these, and I'm going to be doing a variation of these because I don't necessarily want to be throwing like these, elaborate dinners a bunch of times throughout the year. I would love to do 2 to 4 times throughout the year. And then I want to do what you can do. I want to do some easy, like Saturday get togethers, put out a charcuterie board, put out some bottles of wine. They can serve themselves. You can put up some beautiful wine glasses, bottles of wine, and some ice buckets. And you can have people come over for a little while and say, the first hour is mingling and meeting each other. The second hour is 1 hour of facilitated conversation where you introduce yourself and you say something that you are excited about and one thing you need. And then the last hour you can stay if you want or not, to just connect and, do whatever you want within that last hour. And that hardly costs you anything, but it's just opening your home or your backyard or your dining room, or maybe you rent the back room of a restaurant, or maybe you live in an apartment building and you can do what I did way back in the day in Minneapolis, and you can use the free space in your condo building. And I did this actually, I didn't even have a free space. Sorry. I went to my friend Heather's condo building and we used her free space to facilitate an event like this. So you guys don't have an excuse for this. If you want this in your life, you have to be the one to create it. So when you look at my life, if you want any of those relationships, it's because I most likely have been the first one to lead it. So I live in the cutest little walkable neighborhood, and recently the store Cozy Earth opened up, and I was so excited about it because, I just love being able to go on my walks every single day. You guys know I go twice a day. and being able to pass by and go in there because it has some of the best stuff. And one of the things that really got me was their bamboo sheets. You guys, they're temperature regulating, guaranteed to give you a comfortable night's sleep, made from viscose from bamboo. They're naturally wick away heat and moisture from your body, helping you sleep several degrees cooler. And you guys, Cozy Earth's mission is to transform your 5 to 9, the time that matters most, into the most comfortable part of your day. And let me tell you, they are absolutely helping me do that because sleeping in a cooler environment offers so many scientifically supported benefits that enhance sleep quality and overall health. Here are some key findings from recent studies and expert recommendations, which I sleep in a really ice cold room. You can ask my husband. I don't know if he loves it as much as I do, but deep sleep is so important to me. So enhanced sleep quality. Cooler temperatures facilitate the body's natural drop in core temperature at night, promoting the release of melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep. And this leads to faster sleep onset and improved sleep quality. It also helps with mood regulation. Cooler sleeping conditions can boost serotonin levels, contributing to improved mood and reduced symptoms of depression. And there's a reduced risk of night sweat. So, for individuals experiencing night sweats, such as those undergoing menopause, perimenopause, cooler room temperatures can alleviate symptoms and promote uninterrupted sleep. So, you guys, you can help yourself out with some sheets. I am telling you, these things are life changing because deep sleep has changed my life. And I just feel like I have a different personality when I've gotten enough sleep. I feel like I have all of the energy that I need to get through my day and do all of the things that I have to do as an entrepreneur. So you can do this risk-free purchasing. It's a 100-night sleep trial. So you can try them during the hottest nights of the year, which are coming up. If you're not in love, you can return them hassle-free, but trust me, you won't. It's a 10-year warranty on all bedding products. That's a decade of cool quality sleep. You can upgrade your summer. Go to cozyearth.com and use code EARN for 40% off best-selling temperature regulating sheets, apparel, and more. So trust me, you'll feel the difference the very first night. Sleep cooler, lounge lighter, stay cozy. Go to cozyearth.com and use code EARN for 40% off. When you have a business, there are so many challenging things that you don't need to add more challenge by getting confused with your clients texting you or calling you on your own phone number. Let me tell you, there's nothing worse than knowing that you missed a text or a voicemail from somebody important in your business. And that's why OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that streamlines and scales your customer communications. It works through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying two phones or using a landline. With OpenPhone, your team can share one number and collaborate on customer calls and texts like a shared inbox. That way, any teammate can pick up right where the last person left off, keeping response times faster than ever. Plus, say goodbye to voicemail because their AI agent can be set up in minutes to handle calls after hours. They can even answer questions and capture leads so you never miss a customer. So whether you're a one-person operation, drowning in calls and texts, or have a large team that needs better collaboration tools, OpenPhone is a no-brainer. OpenPhone is offering my listeners 20% off of your first 6 months at openphone.com/earn. That's OPENPHONE.com/earn. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers.
I want to make sure we dissect this and give people kind of a path to follow, if you will, because it's very important, the story you just told. The reason why you had the founder of Dylan Lex at your dinner, which then attracted all the other celebrities and mega influencers, all the stuff that you've been wanting to meet, and why you were able to curate such a great room, isn't because you threw the dinner. That was like step 30. It was because a year and a half ago, when we were in New York, you took the time to go and be a customer at one of your favorite brands. And because you walked into that brand, you got to meet the founder, right?
Yeah.
And then what'd you do? You became a customer. You and Lizzie became customers there, and you didn't stop there. You say, hey, we'd love to add value to you. We've got these podcasts. Here's the reach. Would you ever be open to being on them? And so because you're adding value, she said yes. And then you had her on the show and you guys, bonded a little bit more, but then you didn't stop there. That isn't what made this dinner happen a year later. What made the dinner happen a year later was you then constantly shared the jewelry, tagged her, added value over the course of a year and a half. From a year and a half ago when we were in New York doing this, right? And or was that 2.5 years ago? I forget, year and a half, 2.5. This is the point is you played the long game of adding value, adding value, adding value multiple times, not once. You supported this person and you got on this person's radar by saying, wow, this person is truly a cheerleader of me and my work. Not once, not twice, but over a long period of time. Then you were able to recognize this person's call out to social media saying, hey, I'm really looking for some in-person experiences. The internet's fine, but feeling this way or feeling that way. And that was the moment you were able to capitalize on playing that long game and say, hey, I've got a beautiful home. I love throwing dinner parties. Why don't I throw one? We'll feature your brand. I'll invite these incredible people. It'll be a wonderful night. And then because you were adding that value after of the dinner, after adding such long-term value over the year and a half, because she said yes, you were then able to parlay that into, hey, so and so that I've been wanting to meet that I know lives in our neighborhood. Why don't you come up for this? Hey, so and so that lives in our area. Why don't you come up for this? Hey, so and so that is in LA. Why don't you drive down for this? And that's how you ended up having a dinner party at our house with all the celebs and A-list founders of the biggest female makeup brands and everything else out there, is because you're willing to add value for so long without asking for anything in return. And you still haven't asked for anything in return. This is the best part. You spent a cajillion dollars putting the dinner together for this founder and her brand and these other people, and then ask them for a single thing. This is what I want people to understand. Yes, you can do this in your backyard. Yes, you can have a charcuterie board if that's where you're at. But if you're like, hey, I know that I'm one of these really high potential people. I know I'm one of these people bound for greatness and I should be participating in these great relationships that are happening out there. Well, then what is your 2-year plan? What is your 5-year plan? What is your 10-year plan to add value to these circles until you've added enough value to be seen? That's truly the question. And most people hear that and they're turned off by it. They're like, well, 2-year plan, 5-year plan, that's too much. I need something right now. And that's where you get stuck. Lori and I have been the king and queen of playing the long game and adding value and adding value and adding value. And that's how I ended up in the room with, connecting Rob Dyrdek and Dan Martell. It wasn't just the sheer fact that we were up at Dan's and Dan's like, oh, one of the guys I've been wanting to meet is Rob. And I said, oh, really? That's easy. He's a friend of mine. I can make that happen. And then when Dan texted me saying, hey, can you really make this happen? I said, sure, let me shoot him a text. And 30 minutes later, we had the date and the meeting on the books. Texted Rob, hey, Rob, Dan wants to meet you. Rob says, oh my God, I've been wanting to meet Dan. Can you do this date? Yes, right? Dan flies in for it. We have the best afternoon ever, goes into dinner. That's not just because I was able to introduce two people. It's because we've always played the long game with these individuals as well. Like I've known Rob. Lori, did we meet him in 2017, I think, at a mastermind?
I think so.
I think it was 2017, right? So what is that, an 8-year long game? I've invested in his portfolio companies. I've helped them sell more product when some of the companies were stuck and they weren't moving product. Like I've shown up and I've supported the charity. I've shown up and shown up and shown up and in order to build this relationship and build this friendship over time and ask for nothing in return. I guess once he came, he spoke to our elite mastermind, which was super cool of him to do because he's so protective of his time, right? But other than that, like I've never asked for anything in return. And then I was able to deliver this meeting of these two individuals that wanted to meet each other, but there was not a conduit yet. Now, listen, they could have reached out to each other totally easily, and they would have been like, oh, yeah, dope, let's do it. But why wait for that to happen? I saw the opportunity of they both had this need and said, well, let's put it together on this date. Let's make it happen. Let's lock this thing in. And then my bonus for doing so was I got to sit in that room and listen to those two go back and forth on this idea. And it was just, I left there, Lori. I told you, like, how'd it go? I said, well, I've never felt so dumb in my life. And it's because I could hardly keep up with the conversation between those two. Like, that's just the fact of the matter. These two are on a rare spectrum of smart. And so maybe I was able to keep up with 10, 15% of what they're going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth with. And I left there feeling like, my God, see, I'll never be like them. They've got these superpowers called these brains that are way bigger than mine. But then my brother Nick said to me, and this was awesome, we're on a walk and told Nick this, and he said, yeah, but you're the connector. You're the one that made that room happen on that date. You're the one that brought those two together. And I'm like, that's interesting. He said, even if your superpower isn't that your brain's on their level. I'm like, gee, thanks a lot, asshole. He's like, your superpower is you have always built and cultivated a network that is second to none. And you've built up so much relationship capital with these individuals without ever wanting anything in return that you've got that trust. And with that trust, what do? Do you call them favors? Nope. You parlay that trust into doing things that are good for them, creating exchanges that are good for them. He said, and that's why you'll always continue to win, is because you'll always be in the rooms, the private rooms, like the quiet rooms, like the 4-person meetings, right? You'll always be in the rooms because you're the one that they can trust and they know that you have their best intentions in mind. Matter of fact, we went and we worked out at Venice the next morning. Venice Gold's legendary, the mecca of working out, right? And took a picture of Dan and his head of media, Sam, who's super dope, and me, the three of us after our workout. And then he posted, I showed it to you, Laura. I'm like, hey, I'm proud of this right here. He posted it and he said, real friends over deal friends. These are the friends that want more for you than from you. And that felt so good. I mean, look, I've known Dan since I interviewed him 2 years ago, and we were introduced by a mutual friend. First added value, then added value again. Then you went up to speak at the event, and then they were nice enough to put on that incredible weekend for us where we really got to bond more with them. Like, this is how I want people to play the game. I want, no matter what you do in life, I want someone to share a story about you that says real friends over deal friends, the kind of friends that want more for you than from you. And if that becomes your motto, if that becomes your formula, if that becomes your blueprint, that's how people see you, then you will never want for anything in life. Does that make sense?
Mm. Oh, yeah. I think that is, for everyone listening, I think one of the main reasons they listen or come to us is because they want to build this life that they think they see that we have. And I think that that is like connection and going for it and having fun and having like real friendships in our lives. I feel like the feedback from people has been like, I feel like you guys really have great people in your life. And we really, really do. And our circle may be smaller, but it's definitely intentional. And we always want to be giving you the real way that that has happened, because this has not been by chance. And this is not some like, oh gosh, I'm going to like go make this manipulative plan to get this person in my life. It's walking around your life, seeing people that you resonate with, finding energies that you love, and being like, oh, okay, it may or may not happen. That person whose energy I love may or may not come into my life. Like, don't be attached, but also try to add value and see if there is something that you can do for that person. Because some of my best friends have been people who I've either been like, oh my God, I would love to get to know this person, or vice versa. They have been like, oh my God, I would love to get to know her. How can I add value to her life? And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, this person came to these events and came to the masterminds and has added more value to my life than maybe even some of my friends in my life. I think I really want this person in my life. And that's happened too. So it's not way out of reach. Like, sometimes things can actually move fast that way as well.
Yeah, it really can. Like, oh, at the end of the day, the reason I go, oh, I'm like, people underestimate how great their life can be in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years if they do the right thing over and over and over and over again. But instead, they're always trying to do that thing where they want something within a year.
Yep.
And that's all I can think about in this situation is, can you harness delayed gratification, and can you be the master of adding value over a longer period of time than anybody else? Because if you do, there won't be a single room that you can't get in, and therefore a single thing that if you ever need it, that you can't have. And that's my wish for everybody, babe, is that they have those kind of relationships that deliver over time.
Same.
Well, listen, if you want to start building those relationships, remember, we met half these people, and by investing in some of the more private rooms, Lori and I still have our VIP weekend coming up where you get to be on our podcast. So in other words, you're on a shared episode where you get to tell your story, talk about your business, all that stuff, and you get to mastermind in person in our house. Like literally what Lori just had, that dinner, only it's 2 full days of rolling up our sleeves in a small group of you and 9 other people or 9 other businesses, really intimate. It's one of the best things that we've ever done and ever put together. And we're doing another one in September. Problem is, the ones from the first one, they're the reason why we're doing this one in September. Because like, yeah, can we do another one? Can we do another one? And half of them took half the spots. So being that there's not many spots left, I think this is the first time we talked about it on the show here, babe. If they want one, they can rush over to chrisharder.me/weekend because it's called the VIP Weekend Mastermind. Again, that is chrisharder.me, that's .me, chrisharder.me/weekend. All the details are there, the date, the price, everything. Grab your seat immediately. Feel free to DM me if you've got a question around it, but grab your spot immediately because like it's these 2-day experiences, real intimate, having dinner together, being on the podcast, jamming on each other's business. I mean, do you know how many people that I did not know before that weekend that I now text with? And I'm like, oh, I love this person. I'm like, turn this person on. It's insane. So,
Hey, I want to point out something you said because I don't think most people realize what you just said. And I think everybody who came to the last one like ended up purchasing for this reason. And that is you guys get shared time on the podcast. So one of our favorite things, you're going to start hearing some of these episodes. Where this came from was because Elizabeth Gilbert, a long time ago when she had her podcast, which I was obsessed with, she would interview her clients and she put like 4 of them on a podcast. And it was like one of my favorite podcasts that I listened to hear her interviewing her clients. And it was so cool because I wasn't where Elizabeth Gilbert was, but I was where her clients were. And she would give them either advice or I got to learn from her clients. And it was like the coolest way to highlight people and hear that interaction. And it also like gave me so much hope that I could be in that position as well. And so Chris and I are doing that same thing with the people who come to this weekend. So we are putting you on a shared podcast. You're getting a 20-minute interview with us, which trust me, we know how to get the best out of you. We prep for it. We prep all of the questions. You get a chance to be on the podcast, which I have a top 25 entrepreneurial podcast on Apple Podcasts. It typically hits top 25 every single week, which is absolutely insane, which means we're getting hundreds of thousands of downloads. And that's crazy. Like you get to be in front of that audience. And, if I was charging for my podcast, I charge people who want to come on for their brands. This is not every interview, but I charge some people if they want to come on and just promote brands. And that's anywhere from 7 to 14K, depending on how much of that podcast you want fully dedicated. So like it pays for itself within that, not to mention you're on Chris's podcast as well.
yeah, it's an unreal opportunity for exposure. And that's just half of it. The other half is the masterminding for 2 days in person in our home with like-minded people. And you wonder, like, how am I going to get in proximity to these relationships? These are where you go to plant those seeds. It really is. So anyhow, we hope that you grab one of those last half of the spots are available. Go to chrisharder.me/weekend. Again, that is chrisharder.me/weekend. All right, babe. Well, I'll see you when I get home tomorrow. I miss you already.
All right, we'll have the best trip ever. Enjoy your mom's cooking tonight.
I will. You're going to be jealous.
I'm jealous already. I'm going to order some DoorDash.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We love and appreciate you.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week.